Hello, my name is Dr. Stephen Critchlow. I'm a consultant psychiatrist. I've also been a church pastor. I'm looking at the problem of suffering, and last time I was looking at the perfect image given to us in the face of Jesus Christ. But of course, the world is still a mess, and how do we deal with that mess? One of the things I love to do is I love playing chess. And I'm reminded of Garry Kasparov, the amazing chess champion, who at the age of 5 solved a chess problem that his parents couldn't solve. And actually, they didn't even know he even knew how to play. It's amazing. It's a very fascinating game, and I enjoy it. And there was an artist called Moritz Resch, who was also a chess player. And he painted a very interesting painting, and the painting was of a chess game, and a young man was pitted against an opponent, Satan, and it seemed as though Satan was about to win the game. And the pictures of the young man, his hand hovering over the rook, wondering in consternation, thinking he had been beaten and that Satan was going to win the game. And of course, lots and lots of people came to look at that most interesting painting. And then actually somebody came along who was an expert chess player by the name of Paul Morphy. And he looked at it very carefully, and he saw a combination that the artist had missed and said, "Young man, make that move." And of course, that would solve the problem. And you see, that is a picture of life today. We feel, many of us, and many people feel they are trapped. They feel there's no way out in their lives. They feel that they're under the dominion of evil, or somehow the life is so difficult for them. They feel there is no way through. And we say, oh, really? How can that have happened? And what are the problems in this person's life? And of course, as a psychiatrist, we recognize that sometimes problems can be very deep. Sometimes problems can be under the surface, and we may need to dig a little bit to find out what the real problems are. It reminds me of another story, and this is of a railway carriage, a freight train that was traveling along in the end of the 19th century. 1898 is the picture of this freight train, if I can just find it. And what it is this, that there's a freight train going along, and it's a very long freight train, and it's during the night, and the freight train is traveling 25 miles during the night. And when the freight train gets to the other end, at the end of the 25 miles, they can't find the refrigerator car. And somehow it's got lost on the journey. It started off with the train, but when the train got to the other end, it was completely missing. And there was a whole mystery. What has happened to this refrigerator car? And finally, they find the car at the bottom of a steep embankment. And what has happened, of course, is that the train has gone round a very tight curve. The refrigerator car became uncoupled, fell from the track, and then during the journey down a steep descent, the rest of the train caught up with the first part of the train, coupled itself again, and got to the other end without the refrigerator car. And you see, in a sense, that's also part of our lives. You see, sometimes there are things that are missing or have gone wrong in the past, and somehow they're hidden from view. We can't find them easily. And that's why skill and help, not only from psychiatrists, but also from Christian leaders and those who are skilled in the matters of the soul, can find the hidden areas of our lives, the areas that have gone wrong, the areas that have become disjointed, the areas that maybe are hidden and somehow suppressed, and somehow they need to be brought to the light in a way that they can be exposed and then brought into the light and find healing through that. And both psychiatry and also inner healing in its various forms have a role to play in that. You see, sometimes things can go terribly wrong in our lives. And you might know the story of what happened when the Bounty in 1788 went to Tahiti, Having sailed 27,000 miles, the crew enjoyed being on the island, but then it set sail again and finally ended up near the island of Tonga. And then there was a mutiny against Captain William Bligh. And Fletcher Christian and those with him who'd led the mutiny fled and went to an island called Pitcairn Island on the 23rd of January 1790, and there they established a new society with the natives there. But it was a society that went sadly wrong, and there came a time where most people on the island had been murdered and killed, and basically only one man, Alex Smith, he was the only surviving mutineer. But he discovered a Bible in a chest from the Bounty, which had floated to the island, and he began to read the Bible to those who had actually remained on the island, both the natives and himself as the only surviving mutineer. And his gentleness and tolerance enabled the small company to thrive, and peace was returned to the island. And when a ship in 1808 called the Topaz arrived at the island, they found it a place full of peace and harmony. Instead of the murder and the problems, peace and harmony have been restored. And it is through the presence and the power of Christ that peace and harmony can be restored to our lives. And I'll say more about that next time. Thank you.